Welcome. You're listening to the I'm Wired to Inspire podcast, creatively engineered by Robin Nicole, the inspiration specialist. I'm Wired to Inspire is a powerfully packed 5-minute podcast filled with inspiration and encouragement to get you through your day. It's designed to inspire you to live your authentic purpose. Now stay tuned for your host, Robin Nicole, the inspiration specialist, on today's episode of I'm Wired to Inspire.
Hello, everyone, and thank you so much for joining me today on my podcast. Today is very special because it kicks off the beginning of my series for this week, and it is about vision hacks. So before I get started, if you're listening, pause it right now, hit the link below in the comment, and it's going to say download vision hacks. Download the book that goes with this series so that you can follow along this entire week. It's 5 things. Well, it's actually a bonus thing, and I'll repeat the bonus every day. But it's 5 different hacks that I've come up with that I like to call intangible hacks. And intangible hacks are pretty much things that you can do that if you use your mind, your willpower, your brain power, and you actually work these things, you'll get better results in the things that you're actually trying to improve in your life. And I ended up coming up with these hacks because I found people were asking me similar questions about some of the things that I did. And it just came to me one day. I'm like, well, I know it's a need for it because people are asking me. And when you do the kind of things that I do with my life and my career in terms of inspiring people and entrepreneurship, you have to get a handle on what people like that actually listen to you or people who actually want your advice. So if you don't know what they want, you don't know what to give them. So I figured out that I had consistently some of the similar questions. And a lot of times I found people were struggling as Christians in the marketplace. Some people think that they don't go together, but I think that there are a group of people coming up right now in this day and age, and they genuinely want to not only have a successful business, but a lot of people want to honor God in their businesses, and they want to be integral. And again, nothing against anyone else, and not necessarily everyone wants to have a faith-based business. It's not even from that vantage point. It's more of the perspective of, if I could maximize what I know about God, stand on His word, couple that with my business practices, what could I do to see an even bigger, greater, and better result? And so that's where I came in. So the first hack that we're going to talk about today is use your cell phone. Now, I know people are like, what? How is that a hack? Well, let me give you a little background. So some years ago, I was playing around, and I think by mistake, I may have hit the record button on my phone. It was like way back in the day with a Droid or something like that. And I was talking, and I heard myself being played back on my phone. And I said, well, I do this all the time because as a songwriter, a lot of times I would just, if I have a song, an idea for a song, I would just record it on my phone and save it until I can log it in the studio or get somewhere where I could actually write it in my songbook. So one day I just figured, I was working out. In fact, I was on the track, and I just said, you know what? I'm going to pull out my phone, and I'm going to just speak a prayer over myself. Because basically, if I'm walking outside, I'll just be talking to God. I don't even care who's there. They probably think I'm crazy as I don't know what. But I would just get in there and I would just pray. I'd be talking to God out loud and saying these things. So one day I just decided, I said, you know what? I'm going to record myself while I pray. But I'm going to pray a prayer as if it'll be for a day when I need it the most. So that's what I did. And after I saved that, I said, well, you know what? Let me say some of the things that I have on the posters on my wall. And that's actually a hack too, but I'm going to get to that. I think that might be the last day on Friday. And the name of that hack is called Note to Self. And I'll explain that one and break it down more on Friday. But anyway, I said, you know what? Let me compile these things and I'm going to record. I'm going to say, hey, Robin, you're awesome. You can do it. Hey, don't be lazy today. Don't procrastinate today. Get it together. Handle your business. So this is something that I started doing. I saved that one. So then I took it another step further and I just really prayed. I was like, God, how could I really maximize what I have? And it just dropped in my spirit about alarms. So, we have alarms on our phones. We've always had, I think ever since I've had a phone, it's come with an alarm of some kind. So I said, you know what I'm going to do? Some days I'm down and some days I'm just not feeling it. So I blindly, meaning I would just open up the app, press any little button, and I wouldn't look at it. I would hit save. But I would type a message to myself. So I might say, I am blessed. I am awesome. Or, hey, Robin, make sure you do what you need to do for yourself today. Give God glory. Stop and have a praise party. Call somebody and tell them you love them. Give something to a stranger. Whatever it is. But I would always put power thoughts into these alarms. And it is just the most amazing thing, y'all. When I tell y'all, like clockwork, because I have no idea when the alarm is going to go off, because I purposely type out the message, turn my head, and just run my finger on where the numbers are and just hit save, and that's it. And whenever it pops up, it pops up. And when you're more technical about it, you can actually go into it where they can do it on a certain month and a certain day, and it's not just necessarily within the next 7 days or, overnight. So I really began to do that kind of stuff. And honestly, it would get to the point where sometimes I would just be in a funk and I would just hit play and play my prayer out loud or pray my power goals and power thoughts back to myself. And let me tell you something. There is some power in that. The Bible says death and life is in the power of the tongue, right? And I said, man, this is really brilliant because some days, y'all, we get up and we just don't feel like doing nothing. Other days, we just feel down in the dumps. Other days, we know that we don't want to stay in the funk, but we really don't know how to talk ourselves out of it. And this is kind of a surefire way to just kind of preset it just in case. And let me tell you, it is not limited to things for business. You can figure out things that you struggle with. Find out what your quirks are, things that you want to make better with yourself. And you could actually record yourself speaking to your new self. If you're always late, you can record something saying, hey, listen, I'm going to be on time today. I'm going to make a special effort. I'm going to pay attention. I'm going to do blah, 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 blah. Or you could even say, I'm on time. I do things decent and in order. In fact, I'm no longer on time. I am now early. So you can literally do these things repeatedly. And after a while, it's going to create a pattern. It's going to create a pattern. And let me tell you, another thing with the cell phone hack is, typically we use it for, Googling. Using it for a cell phone. It's just a phone. But I thought that this was a really cool hack because people sleep on this element of a cell phone. It never crosses your mind to make messages and record them back to yourself. And I'm going to tell you, it is not pretentious. If anything, you're helping to make yourself better. It's not about saying, oh, I'm so awesome, I'm so beautiful, looking in the mirror. It's not from that vantage point. But it is truly what I like to call a power thought. And you have a power thought to match your power goals. And when you know you're struggling with something, because we all do, it is a facade to behave as if we don't. And guys, it's okay. It is really okay if you don't have it together all the time. And that's why for me, when you get to a place in your life where you say, hey, I just want to be my best self and I'll take it one day at a time, the cell phone hack came in perfectly for me because it's just something that you do a day at a time. And on the days I need it, I hit play, and the days I don't, I don't. In the times when, God already knew I had these preset alarms. When those pop up, they're completely divinely ordered. I cannot tell you how many times those alarms have popped up and I was down in the dumps and it just completely just like that, just turned everything around for me. So I absolutely encourage you. After you listen to this podcast, give yourself 10 minutes. You don't even need a whole bunch of time. But give yourself 10 minutes and just speak a power thought to yourself. If you don't want to do a power thought, you can just say a prayer. You can even do prayers of thanksgiving. If you don't think you worship enough, you don't think you give God enough glory enough. If you want to just make a 10-minute a 10-minute voiceover of just saying, voice memo of you saying, God, I love you. I appreciate you. You're everything to me. And let me tell you, you can hit that mug and play it on repeat at night as you go to sleep. So it can sink in. It can sink into you. It can sink into the atmosphere. Just to keep setting yourself up in a state of praise and a state of worship. So again, you can use it for a myriad of things, but I think it is paramount that you use it for at least one. And then you'll get to see. And again, you can hit the link beneath this podcast and make sure you send me an email. You can hit me up if you have any questions about it. If you want, I'm more than willing. I have an outline set up for anybody who wants to go beyond this podcast. And hey, all you need to do is give me your email address and I'll send it over to you. And I can give you different ideas and other hacks within these that can help you create some things that you can kind of fireproof and put into your phone so that you can reach your goals and you won't feel the weight of it not coming to pass. You won't feel so bad. And it may not seem like a big deal, guys, but it adds up later on. And finally, there's 6 hacks in all of my hack books. But the 6th one is my bonus hack. And I'm going to say it every day this week as a reminder. And I say it in every last one of my hack books. I use the YouVersion Bible app. It is the little burgundy Bible. Okay? And what I would encourage you to do is download this app and you get an account, and it is awesome. Plans, scriptures, you can highlight things, you can converse with other people now, you can add friends. It is amazing. Now, this is why I always put this in every hack, because the enemy can give us blessings and things too. The enemy can come in our dreams and make us think somebody is for us and they're not. The enemy can come in our dreams and make us think we're sick and we're not. The enemy can come in our dreams and try to give us something that we're not supposed to have so we don't function when we get up in the morning. Listen to me. We have to find every way that we know how to make sure that we're operating with the tools and the heavy artillery that we have. And I get it, y'all. Listen, I get it. I will be very transparent about that. I have gotten to a place where I've truly fallen in love with the Lord. So it's not as taxing and it's not as hard like it used to be. Because when you know that the Lord is your best friend, you want to chop it up with him. You think about your best friend in reality. You want to sit and chop it up with them every day. You know what I'm saying? Because they're your bestie. Well, this is how I feel about the Lord. So over time, this app has helped me tremendously. Because what I would do, download the app, figure out what I wanted to read. And guess what? If I know that I'm busy, if I know that I'm all over the place, if I know I have to drive somewhere, I'll say, you know what? Today, I'm not going to return any calls while I'm driving. I'm going to plug up my phone to my speaker, and I'm going to play my Bible app. I'm going to let the scriptures play. And let me tell you, you can get a man, a woman, you can get all different types of voices, all different types of versions, and you can find the one that's most comfortable for you to hear. And then you can go with it. You can go in the bathroom, have your little speaker going, while you're in the bathroom, when you're in the shower, while you're washing dishes. Then just hit play. Just get the word in the atmosphere, because for what I believe and what my entire purpose of these hacks is for you really being able to be a functioning Christian in the marketplace, and you don't have to feel so churchy, so Jesus-y, like you're overkilling it. Because when you're in Christ, there's a freedom in Christ. So it's the freedom that I'm expressing through the things that he's taught me over time and the things that I've learned over time. It's like matching the spiritual with the practical. My head was in the clouds for so long, y'all, just being totally not practical and too spiritual, that now that I found the balance, I feel it's my duty to share it with people, because you usually have the extremes. You have the super spiritual person or the person that's way too stuck into getting the goals done and getting the brass tacks done. And when you want it from God, you have to have that balance. That balance is going to be the thing to truly set you apart, and there's going to be a peace about it. Because I'll tell you something. The same thing that you say that you want, the enemy can give it to you also. And let me tell you, it will not last. I don't care about the business deal. I don't care about how many loans you got, contracts you got, grants you got. If you didn't get it from God, you're not going to keep it. So that's why I say I know how to protect myself with the word of God. I know how to stand on it. Because let me tell you something. Most of us in this season, what God is doing, people won't even know by us opening our mouths who we serve. They're going to know by our actions. So that's why it's imperative. Download that YouVersion app, and you can totally follow me on there. You can look me up. You'll find me on there. We'll be friends. We can share plans, scriptures, questions, whatever. But that's a wrap for today, guys. We just took care of the first hack, and that is use your cell phone for anything other than Google, talking on the phone, and social media. So I hope that this hack has helped you. Stay tuned tomorrow, and tomorrow's hack is very interesting. It's about a special course that I found that actually helped me revamp and reshape how I approach life and business. So you do not want to miss that. So make sure, again, look at my comments at the bottom. Make sure you download. In fact, guys, these will be series coming up. There's a vision hack, there's a faith hack, there's a provision hack, and there are 2 more books coming up. So please get in there, download it, because you can follow along with me. And I have some more tips in the book that I'm not even mentioning out loud. So I want you to make sure you get everything in totality. So have an incredible day. Have an awesome week. And remember, I'm wired to inspire. I hope you are too.
Thanks for listening to I'm Wired to Inspire podcast at I'mWiredToInspire.com. If you enjoyed the show, spread the word and be sure to hit the 5-star rating on iTunes. For more information on this podcast and inspirational products and services, log on to the inspirationspecialist.life or I'mWiredToInspire.com. And remember to live your authentic purpose. Thanks again, and see you next time.